Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be publishing some of my client case studies. I've been doing some podcast interviews with people who have been through my Smart Wellness program. And in their words, not mine, it has been life changing. And I think it's useful for other people to see how they have used the Smart Wellness program to fix and future proof their health. Today, in this episode, I was talking to Sue, who, when I met her earlier this year, she had been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, and had been taken a lot of time off work and was pretty low. And you will hear how Smart Wellness has transformed her life and put her back on track. She is now absolutely exploding with energy and positive light. And you will be able to hear in her words how she used the program to get back on track. Okay, hello everyone. So, this is my podcast series where I am chatting with people about their smart wellness experiences. As you know, with my NEURON book, I put myself through my smart wellness program, taking 12 months to readdress my poor habits and make some tiny adjustments to my daily routine to fix my own wellness. And since then, I have been meeting lots of other people and encouraging them to try the same program. And today we have got Sue in the Smart Wellness Emporium here with me, and we're going to be chatting about her smart wellness experience. So, welcome.
Thank you.
We're sitting here in the dark. It's dark, but it's not, because we've got all the lights on the musical instruments here in the studio. But it is a November afternoon, and I embrace this time of year with red wine and log fires, but only on weekends.
Oh, of course. Well, I was going to be more romantic and mention the leaves falling off the trees and their beautiful colours.
And
anyway,
the moon, and the moon
the
behind me.
amazing,
Oh, I didn't show you that
amazing.
app. Remind me to show you the app about the stars, because that is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, do you want to just kind of kick off and kind of give us a run through of your smart wellness experience? It's been about when did we first chat? Must have been May, was it?
Yeah, it was May.
So
I went back to work on the 1st of April this year, and then I think it was in May that we started chatting, and that was when I got the diagnosis, and that's when everything changed.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, give us a little rundown.
Okay, right. This program has literally saved me. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME. Since my diagnosis, I've heard nothing from my GP. I was so low and soon realised my only option was to help myself. That's where Julia Jones came in. I was already beginning to understand the importance of well-being, but this program's blown my mind and changed my life. This has been the platform for me to experience so many amazing things. All have been so simple, and it's only me that does it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a quick fix, and I have got things wrong along the way, but I'm getting there, baby steps. It takes a lot to undo years of bad habits, but you can do it. In our lives, we're all too busy trying to get things done, but all too often we lose focus of what is important. We all need to be kind to ourselves, listen to our bodies, and take time to relax. And don't feel guilty, just be happy and content that you're taking care of yourself.
Amazing, amazing. Now, I hasten to add that I didn't write that script for you.
No, I did that all by myself.
So that was a blog post that you wrote, right? So
yes.
That was kind of just you almost journaling, I suppose, like your inner thoughts.
But that was back in August.
Right.
So yeah, that was a few months on, and now we're a few months on then. So.
Yeah. So let's rewind then. So let's go back to when? 2 years ago? So when did you start, getting, tell us the story.
I would have said it's probably, I've had the morning silence for probably more like 3 years, but you don't listen, you keep carrying on, running around like an idiot, trying to make everybody happy. And
with a rock and roll lifestyle.
Yes. And then I was ill in December 2020, and I was ill for months. Went back to work in April the 1st. Went back and forth to the doctors. Well, actually didn't on the phone, but And then I was sent a referral to a neurologist. I then paid privately because otherwise I would still not have seen a neurologist now. For him to tell me that I've got all the classic symptoms of chronic fatigue or ME, or essentially, obviously, long COVID. It's been banded around as well, albeit I've tested negative twice for COVID. So, yeah, I suppose I needed a label, which I have got now, but I've kind of embraced it because I didn't want it to beat me.
Yeah.
But thankfully, you gave me the program to do, and I was already into meditation, but it's taken this program has just taken it this and then YouTube, because when you go on YouTube and you start looking at something, it's clever, it knows, and it's and you try this and you try that, and
it's really interesting, and you get into it, and that's I think that's the most powerful thing about the Smart Wellness Program, is that it sparks people's curiosity about their biology and like how this all works. And then once you start learning a little bit and then realizing how things are wired, and why things like breath can be so powerful, and why the gut bacteria is so important, and how different timed eating routines make such a difference, I think there is then there's the interest is sort of triggered, and then people do get and dig into it. And when we chatted initially, I think, well, here, I mean, we'd chatted before, like over beers and stuff, but not, when you came here that time and digging into, how things like the gut test, doing gut health tests that you hadn't done, and looking at sleep quality, that you weren't measuring sleep. So obviously, like fatigue, that sleep is a real mega important part of that, and that digging into that, and also what was going on at work, and the intensity of that, and stress, and all of those, that kind of triangle of gut bacteria balance, sleep, stress. I mean, that's going to send anyone into a spiraling spin of chronic symptoms, and everything starts. It's like a house of cards, right? It all starts collapsing.
It did all come tumbling down. It definitely did. Yeah. But the whole sleep thing, I have a snorer, not myself, my partner.
Yeah.
And I suffered this, but there are amazing things like earplugs.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were saying, right? But
so I don't know how many, but a couple of months I used earplugs. I don't need them now. There's something that I'm doing that
sends you into deep sleep,
meditation, right? or the breathing, because I don't do it I don't do breath work and meditation every day. I do one or the other. Oh, and also I do a Reiki as well. I do that. Yeah. But I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Apart from my cat wakes me up, but other than that, I'm not being woken up.
Yeah. And if you're going into a deep sleep, so the first half of the night is when you cycle in and out of the deep sleep phases. If you can successfully get into that level, then you're less likely to be woken up from that. Whereas when you're going to bed, you're only getting into light sleep stages, then you're much more likely to be disturbed by other sounds. It's a lot harder. So just learning that, and this is the thing, right? All of these things are simple skills, because you think, oh well, we just sleep. You don't have to learn how to sleep, and you don't learn how to breathe, and because they're all natural things that we do automatically from the day we're born. But you do have to learn how to do it properly, especially if you've got problems and issues in that area. Learning how to sleep properly, and learning how to breathe properly, and learning how to eat properly, and all of those things are the steps towards good health, right? And avoiding illness.
But also, I think one of my problems as well, I had to be a victim. Why do I have to part with this? And like that, and so many areas of my life, that's what I was doing. And I was very selfless. Now I'm essentially selfish, but
it's self-care.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But I used to feel guilty. I used to say to my other half, oh, you know, I haven't done much this afternoon, I've just had an afternoon on the couch, and he'd say, and that's fine, you are allowed to do that. And I'm like, no, because I've got that to do. And there's always tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm lucky I haven't got children, because they are demanding, but
that cat, that's pretty demanding.
I have to say, I don't mind. Well, I don't wake up generally. He wakes up, gets David up about 4:30 in the morning, and he takes him out to his cage, and then I don't hear any of that. It's about an hour, and then he gets up again. So,
so you went back to work?
Yes. I went back to work. Yeah. I was doing 20 hours a week over a period. Where are we now? November. So over from 1st of April through to November, my hours have gradually increased to 30 hours. I think I've been doing 30 hours the last 2 months, which I'm managing. When I get home, I have to rest for an hour, which is frustrating. But if I don't do it, I pay the price.
Yeah.
So it's just a managing process, but I have the tools now to do it.
Yeah, it's empowering that you know, you gather the knowledge, so you gain the knowledge, understand a bit about the biology, understand the tools, start practicing the little hacks and the little habits, and then it just becomes normal life, right? You don't even, like you said in the message the other day, you don't even have to think about it now.
No.
I don't even think about, I go out. It's the first thing I do. I automatically go out when I let my dog out. So I go outside, get natural daylight as early as I can. I don't even think about any of the stuff that I do now is just automated. And whereas before, all the automated habits were not the right habits. And so it was just little things that I'd slipped into over, 15 years of rushing around, working, going into London, getting home late, eating late, trying to go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. All of those little things that pretty much we all have because of the modern world that we've created. It's intense, and it is. If you look at hunter-gatherers today, who are our ancestors lived most like that, they sit around a lot. There's nothing wrong with sitting around and having a little hour on the sofa, but we do feel guilty about it, and it's like, oh, I'm wasting time. It's like, no, you're not. That's a really important part of our biological existence, is that you're not on the go all the time. You're on the go and then you're resting. You're on the go and then you're resting, and that's all of those are equally important. But we are in this mindset of, you've got to be on constantly, and that is triggering our fight or flight sympathetic nervous system, tiny drips, cortisol, stress hormones, constantly triggering inflammation and eventually chronic illnesses. And this is the world that we now live in. If you ignore COVID, even without COVID, the cases of chronic illness and the age now, early on diagnosis starts in the early 50s of people having their first chronic illness, and then that triggers decades of prescription medication and other stuff. So, and it doesn't have to be like that. And that's what we were saying before we sat down here, about the fact that all these things are taught to the elite military. I was taught this by the US Navy guys like 30 years ago when I went as a student on a trip. Elite military and elite sport are taught these things as standard practice, and yet the rest of us seemingly don't need to know it, right? Unless you happen to find out or you look for yourself, or it's just not common knowledge. It's not taught in schools, and these are just basic tools that everyone should be aware of. And that's that's the kind of mission.
I mean, I spread the word, but I mean, to be honest with you, I try and get my friends into it, but they kind of look at me as if anyway, it's up to them. It's their choice.
But people think it's a bit woo-woo, right? It's like, how can that possibly work? It's like, well, because we've got ancient biology and that's how it works. But if it's not a pill, or if it's not a really strenuous workout in a gym,
but some people just like taking pills. I'm not that type of person.
No.
I would do everything and anything possible not to take a tablet.
Yeah. So what would you say to people who are currently right now in the position that you were in like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, figuring out, you know, what the hell is going on?
Well, I would definitely recommend looking into smart wellness.
Oh, well, I'll pay you later. I'll pay you later for that little plug.
Because I wouldn't be where I am now if Julia hadn't kindly given me this opportunity. I would probably not. I don't know if I'd be working. I don't know, because I was struggling with fatigue. When the last time I saw you up here, I'd had a bout of time off then, and I think in the last 7 months I've had 6 days off sick, which is, considering what's going on, is amazing. But it's not only changes your life, it changes your family's life. So it's not just you. So if you've got loved ones and parents that you care about, it's something that you can do for them. It's you in some respects you're being selfish, because you are engaging a lot more of your time to yourself, but equally you then have the energy, you've got more energy for them to do things that are actually more enjoyable.
Exactly.
Rather than getting drawn into. And also, one thing I will say, alcohol. I was the biggest thing, right, get home, dinner, drink, blah blah blah. Don't get me wrong, I'm no saint, I love a drink, but I can now, at the weekend, I have 2 bottles of wine and lasts me Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I was a bottle a night girl.
Yeah.
And now in the week, I try not to do Monday to Thursday. But drinking, especially when you're a woman of a certain age as well, coupled with everything else, it's something that you really need to. But it's habit,
right? Every single person without fail that I'm working with was drinking every night. And that is very common.
Yep.
And it's also associated with cooking as well, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I have a glass of wine when I'm cooking. So you're trying to cook a healthy meal, but you're drinking 3 glasses of wine
before you've even eaten.
Yeah. And so those changes, and this is the important thing to remind everyone as well, is that, you know, I still drink, I still go out, I still get drunk, I still eat chocolate, I still do, but I don't do it every single night, and that's the difference. And it's about, and I enjoy it more, because when I get to Friday now, it's like I count down the hours to Friday. It's like, woohoo, yes, come on, bring it on. So it's not about life ending, it's about just, you know, just realizing that stuff is poisoning our body, you know, and the processed foods and things like that. Because I know you started doing the fruit and veg delivery, same as me, from the farm shop, and that is a big impact. And, you know, I mean, you're just like surrounded by energy, right? If I compare how, like, you had no energy when we were first chatting, right? There was no energy around you. You're absolutely zinging with energy, right? It's a completely different vibe.
Yeah,
and so that rubs off on people around you, as well.
Something as well that I've noticed as well, and I don't know whether it's me, I've got a funny smile on, but it can't be because I'm wearing a mask. People smile at me, and they can only see my eyes, and I'm like, what? I thought it was just me. I don't know. I don't know what that is all about, but people do smile at me, and I think there's something wrong with my hair. But I just think if you've got that vibe about you, absolutely, it rubs off on people. It attracts that,
and it attracts that same response. You know, it's all, we are biologically wired, and it's an ancient thing, but it's definitely, I'm so pleased that you got into it. It's just, it's, you know, it's because for some people find it easier than others to kind of dig into, and so it's interesting and useful for me as well to see who manages to really embrace it and then wins. You know, it's like, wow, this has literally changed my life. And then I've got other people who are like, oh, 5-minute video a day, like, do you know how busy I am? I can't watch 5-minute video a day. It's like, well, you know, right, we need to work on that aspect first before anything else.
Well, I was that person, but you just need to take a step back and stop and just reevaluate everything and calm.
Yeah.
And something else that I found really, really useful that I've taken from this is I have affirmations that I say to myself every morning when I'm driving to work. And gratitude. My goodness, that is such, you can be feeling a bit rubbish, but you think to yourself, well, actually, look at the sun. Or just, you know, my car's got me to work today. Just there's so many things to be grateful for.
And that is triggering those positive brain chemicals and resetting your brain chemistry and setting you up for a great day. And that's the, you know, all of this stuff is so simple. And so I'm glad that you're spreading the word as a
nut job.
Smart wellness, what should we say? Smart wellness, what?
I'm not a pioneer, am I?
What a smart wellness. I don't know, we'll have to think of some. Right. You smart wellness advocate. Yeah.
Oh no, it's advocate, isn't it?
And that is an excellent note to finish on. All right. Well, thanks for coming in, and we should go for a celebratory drink.
We should,
an alcoholic one, but only at weekends.
Of course.
All right. Thank you.
Julia. Thank you.